President, Iran's foreign ministry says you're not telling the truth when it comes to productive conversations to end the war.
Well, they're going to have to get themselves better public relations people. We have had very, very strong talks. We'll see where they lead. We have major points of agreement. I would say almost all points of agreement. Perhaps that hasn't been conveyed. The communication, as you know, has been blown to pieces. They're unable to talk to each other. But we've had very strong talks. Mr. Witkoff and Mr. Kushner had them. They went, I would say, perfectly. I would say that if they carry through with that, it'll end that problem, that conflict. And I think it'll end it very, very substantially. We have very much in mind our partners in the Middle East. We've had great relationships with a lot of them, as you know. A lot of them were surprisingly hit. And I was surprised to see it, and so was everyone else. But we have, they're very much in mind in the discussions. So the discussions took place yesterday. They went into yesterday evening. They want very much to make a deal. We'd like to make a deal too. We're going to get together today by probably phone, because it's very hard to find a country. It's very hard for them to get out, I guess. But we'll at some point very, very soon meet. We're doing a 5-day period. We'll see how that goes. And if it goes well, we're going to end up with settling this. Otherwise, we'll just keep bombing our little hearts out.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Steve with Census Fidelium coming at you on March 23rd, 2026. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what screen this is. Welcome to Clown Planet News, not the hump day. I'm way ahead of myself. Black Pill Monday edition. Hope you had a great weekend, yours and yours, all over the place. Anyways, we haven't been nuked yet. No one's been nuked yet. They have been threatening of all stuff. It's getting feisty out there. Oil's going up and down, left and right, sideways up. If this was a Naked Gun movie, it would be kind of funny. Too bad it's idiocracy has become life. Open that up with like a little diaper diplomacy. That was always fun when they make it into little babies. But anyway, let's get right to it. Okay. Well, first off, I just wanted a reminder. Everyone's upset about the 30 years ago that Leo, then Father Provost, Provost was at a ceremony. We don't know exactly what's going on. I just wanted to bring up the ice cube that popped up on my news feed today. I forgot about the blessing of the giant ice cube in the name of fighting climate change, because that is still going on. Part of the Great Reset and part of other things that are happening. As Joseph the Worker says, we are witnessing COVID 2.0 happening. Yep. The Agenda 30 places already have gone energy lockdowns. And gas stations showing prices that with buy Tesla signs. Yep. We've been talking about this for many moons. Glad other people are bringing it up and seeing it as well. But anyway, hope you got your blessed ice from long ago. If not, anyway, just wanted to bring up the I thought it was kind of funny. Here is one that's kind of like with the predictive since you talk about COVID and predictive programming and such like this.
As far as the oil prices, people just need to stop panicking. It's worth it to prevent Iran from having a nuclear weapon. So if I have to pay a little bit more for gas, I'll pay
the price. I mean, in order to have long-term stability.
The disruptions in the global markets are real and may be painful, but the long-term benefits, again, are incalculable.
There may be some sacrifices to be made at the pump on a temporary basis. I'm willing to pay 30% or 30 cents more at the pump to make sure that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon.
To win in life, you got to suffer short-term pain for the long-term gain, or short-term pain for long-term gain.
Freedom is not free. Americans are going to have to make some sacrifices.
This is short-term, and I'm asking you to just trust the man, okay? Trust the system, let him cook.
As far as the oil prices, people just need to stop.
While you're watching this, remember, this is going to be a short-term pain for a long-term gain. If you see this face, just remember, it is a short-term pain for a long-term gain. Aren't you glad you're paying $1 more in gas so that the group that doesn't have nukes won't ever get nukes or anything like that? Joseph asked me, what do I think of Tucker? Is he controlled opposition? Has he spoken on energy lockdowns yet? Or is he only focused on Zionists? Full disclosure, Trying to think when was the last time I listened to a Tucker interview. I don't watch Tucker. So I can't. Ryan Christian brings up, he's with the Last American Vagabond. Again, I listen more secular podcasts than anything because like getting, especially alt media, to get more information out of. And he brings up all the time that he doesn't understand how Tucker, maybe he's playing to the camera, the whole OG shucks. I did OG, I don't know. I didn't know this. How he kind of acts like that. Like, I can't believe it. And Ryan will go, there's no way he doesn't know this. There's just, he couldn't say things he wanted, they say now back in Fox days because he'd be booted off. So again, it's after, remember like when Rona 1.0 was going on, listen to the people that went through the muck at that time, because the other guys are pretty much, they got the green light. Hey, it's okay to say it now. Now they're saying it. Those guys who didn't get, it's like kind of like remember what's his face? Who's the actor? He's in England. It starts with R. Got a beard, long hair. Sometimes he talks about Jesus and sometimes he talks about Buddha. It was like where is this? He's all over the place. Apparently got baptized and then what's his name? Man, I can't think of his name. He was an actor in England. During the time when everyone else was getting kicked off, his numbers were going sky high. I can see Russell Brand. That's it. Yes, Joseph, thank you. Russell Brand. His numbers were just boom, going straight up and up and up. I'm going, how is he able to say the things he's saying? Because guys I know that are saying less, even me, I was doing the bob and weave, trying to make sure, come up with new names and things when we were doing rundown at that time. We were like, hey, we got to call it something else. We can't use these words. We have to do this. We can't say this. He was just saying it, but it was just skyrocketing. So yeah, he's possibly like Russell. I think he probably was controlled op. Tucker, I wouldn't be shocked if there's a Tucker 2028. Do I think he knows things that he didn't say and was too cowardly to say it, or just didn't do it because he had to do it? Yeah. If he had the stones, like a lot of guys that made exponentially less money than he makes. I would have given. I don't know. I couldn't be that guy like Tucker sitting on Fox and being told not to say something because you'll get fired. Say it. If someone came up to me and I was at Fox making all that cash, I already had the money anyways, and they told you couldn't do it, what do you think? I'm opening up with that. Come and then call them out. Say, they told me I'd get fired for this. Boom. Drop it before they pull the plug. Let them fire me. And then you get 50 times more, 50,000 times more people following. I don't know. There's something fishy. I can't put my finger on it, but is he controlled? I think he still plays the little game of whatever is going in the wind. Like I said, I don't know. I haven't watched him in a while, so I couldn't tell you if he's talking about energy lockdowns. Would you say he had Gregory Sachs on his show? He was a globalist population control advocate. Yeah, Professor Sachs he's on Judge Knapp's show a lot too. And I watch Judge Knapp a lot. I like the judge. Sachs is good on a few things, but he's part of the WEF, and he's part of he's got some weird parts on him. Not everyone's wrong. Not everyone's totally evil. It's like Bellarmine has in his book on the Kingship of Kings or something like that on government. Not everyone's 100% evil. Not everyone's 100% bad. But maybe Tucker's just using it for, hey, what's the flavor of the month? The Iran war. So he's going to stick on that. Maybe after everyone else calls out something, and he'll call it out because, again, most people are like, oh, look at Tucker breaking the news. They're not going to see guys that are talking about it now because they look at normies like they look at Normie. You're not going to see it on Fox. And what most people turn on, they'll turn on Fox. It's like what they're trying to social engineer people to the new right or the Antichrist. That's the fake right and the fake left. You got to capitalize. What can we capitalize on? Capitalize on nationalism, the fake patriotism stuff. Can we capitalize on the Christian nationalism garbage, and but sell it. It's all about sales. How you market something. I mean, I was in sales all my life. I love marketing. I had to take a business minor in our degree, and I slept through those classes. It was just easy. I aced all of them. Barely stayed awake. And I do that now with this. I do market other people. I love marketing other people. It's like a challenge to me. But in this, yeah, you market the right way. It's the right things you say. It's the right sales pitch. And who's your target audience, and how, the images and photos that go with it, all that jazz, especially when they got money to be able to make good videos and things like that. It's an easy one. And then pull out your heartstrings. Let's make sure we focus on this is Christianity. This is getting rid of those bad, evil illegals. Make the enemy look into a monster, just like they did in World War II or in Vietnam, when you make the enemy into these horrific images. And like the Japanese were these worse than life, worse than demons type deal. I mean, remember the North called the South demons. There were a bunch of devils that lived under the South. Have to get the people on board with your movement. So yeah, it's I don't trust anything they bring up online or the media, especially. But are you right for the Antichrist? I mean, right for it? Yeah, they'll follow any people will follow anybody. Obama, how many people followed him? Trump, how many people followed him? They got the Pied Pipers in every group. Did I switch over? No, I haven't yet. Let me switch that. I think I might have switched that over. Maybe I did. Maybe I did. It's been so many minutes now, I don't remember. All right. Let's see. This was this morning. If you remember, if you saw any of this go down, it was the Kobayashi letter. This is absolutely insane. At 7:04 Eastern Standard Time today, this morning, once and future King President DJ Trump said the U.S. and Iran have had productive discussions to end the Iran war. I heard that on my way into town today and going, there's no way that happened. By 7:10 a.m., the S&P 500 surged 240 points, adding $2 trillion in market capital. 27 minutes later, Iran completely denied all of Trump's claims and said there was no contact with the U.S. in any realm of the universe. There's a great meme of Trump looking to a mirror, and the caption says Trump talking to Iran. By 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, the S&P 500 had fallen 120 points, erasing $1 trillion in market cap. That's a $3 trillion swing market cap in 56 minutes, just in the S&P 500. What is happening here? Here's right. I think it was just a money grab. Him and his friends got somebody made a lot of money today, this morning. And here it is right here. 7:04. Trump says U.S. and Iran productive talks. Boom. 7:10. S&P surges 240 points, adding $2 trillion. 7:37. Iran denies it. Down a little bit. There was some, and I think there's a report coming up here about insider trading happened. Trump backed down. Iran media denies direct talks after U.S. holds off energy strikes. Trump, fearing Iran's response, backed down from his 48-hour ultimatum. Islamic Republic of Iran Broadcasting System, or the IRIB, if you're nasty. I don't know if it is right there, but it just, could be work it. Said in a post on X. Everyone's using X these days. Trump fearing, I read that. Trump military headquarters statement: if U.S. attacks Iran's power plants, which I think they just did a few hours ago, Strait of Hormuz will be closed until damaged plants are rebuilt. Israel's power, energy, and ICT infrastructure will be targeted, and power plants in the Middle East countries hosting U.S. bases will be legitimate targets. And I say that because let me see. I could have sworn I saw energy base. I didn't click it. It's March 17th. Fire breaks out after drone hits. That's a naval base in southern Iraq. Military base. Could have sworn I saw one earlier. Maybe Missed it. I thought I was going to hit it and then something recycle. All right. Well, we'll move on. If I find it, I'll find it. Volume in stock and oil futures surged minutes before Trump's market turning post around 6:40. We already talked about this. Blah blah blah. Here's breaking. The S&P 500 extends gains to plus 150 points on the day, rising 2.3%, adding 1.2 trillion in market cap. Markets are beginning to price in an end to the Iran war. This was just a good one to just keep remembering the U.S. dollar declined since the 1913 creation of the Federal Reserve. There's Bark. Let me explain what just happened. 5 minutes before the president announced a halt to the attacks on Iran, someone placed a $1.5 billion bet on stocks going up and dumped $192 million in oil. 5 minutes. These trades were 4 to 6 times larger than anyone else in the entire market. Sounds like a 9/11 right a little bit, when a lot of people shorted out and made a lot of money. And and when the one guy was interviewed the day before saying the buildings are coming down tomorrow. That's why I let you watch it so I don't have to. Kathleen, yeah, exactly. There was zero public indication this announcement was coming. No leaks, no press, nothing. The only people who knew were in the room when the decision was made. Someone in that room picked up a phone, and within minutes, they made more money than most Americans will earn in 1,000 lifetimes in a single trade on a war that cost you $4 plus a gallon gas and $16 billion in tax dollars. American citizens funded this. Well, yeah, was Nancy Pelosi in that room? No, it's somebody else. Politicians have profited from it. This is not the first time. Every major announcement from this administration has had massive suspicious trades right before it dropped. Think of what's his name? That his right hand man, the other gay guy that's with behind him, that made bank off the tariffs being taken away. Yeah, I got that coming up too. This is not the most blatant insider trading operation in the history of America. This is the most blatant. It's not even close. And it's happening over and over in broad daylight. You would go to federal prison, I was going to say something else, for trading on a tip from your cousin. These people are front-running war decisions with billion-dollar bets, and nobody will even ask a single question. Nobody will be investigated. Nobody will charge. By tomorrow, this will be buried under the next satisfying headline, just like last time and the time before that. The game is rigged, and they're not even hiding it anymore. Yep. There's breaking. Just 5 minutes before Trump announced the halt to Iran attacks, massive trade reporting hit the market in one move. Where is that? Yeah, it's a big club and you ain't in it. And again, you ain't seeing anybody talk about that, really, right? Kushner's Mideast backed fund assets jumped to $6.2 billion. Affinity Partners, the investment firm Jared Kushner runs with money gathered from government-backed funds across the Middle East, saw assets jump nearly 30% last year, according to regulatory filing seen by Bloomberg. The fund's assets soared to $6.2 billion at the end of 2025. The filing shows, with the increase reflecting gains the fund recorded on some of its investments. Here's this from James Corbett's show, Meet the Ellisons, Zionist Technocrats, Moguls. This goes to the Odyssey. He's got this YouTube back. So if you want to watch it, go click it. It's about just under an hour long. And you're going to be a good person down the road, and you will know you'll be a good person. The Wire, the rise of the meta creep, of the Ray-Ban meta creep between pickup artists and juvenile pranksters. The wearable device is becoming associated with pests of all kinds. Ancient machine gun was used by Romans to attack Pompeii. Researchers found that a polybolus was responsible for large circular craters found in the city's walls. Long before Pompeii was covered in ash and pumice, during the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD, the people of the doomed city were confronting a threat of a different kind. Nearly 170 years earlier, the residents of Pompeii were fighting for their independence when the Roman army, led by Lucius Cornelius Sulla, attacked the walled city and brought it under control. Apparently, it had a secret weapon, the polybolus. The repeating catapult of Greek design could launch metal-tipped projectiles at the enemy and knock the opposing soldiers off the ramparts in rapid succession, with the researchers likening it to the ancient form of a machine gun. I had to do that just to get into this. Amputee cornhole player accused of murder. Now, who had that? Somebody yelled bingo. Who had that on? It was I-36. Amputee cornhole player accused of murder. Quadruple and not just one amputee. He's a quadruple amputee. Professional cornhole player faces murder charges. I have to click play on this. I've been keeping it from me not to watch it until we did this. Because I was like, how in the, it's almost, there's got to be a story in this. How is it?
Now to a bizarre story out of Charles County. Police now investigating after a professional cornhole player with no hands and no legs is accused of firing a deadly shot all while driving. We want to get out to our Homa Bash. She is live in La Plata this evening with more details. Homa?
Angie, bizarre to say the least. But before we get any further into this story, I just want to try to answer the question that so many people have right now. How did someone with no arms, no hands manage to fire a gun and allegedly kill someone?
It's early in the investigation, but there is no evidence at this point to suggest anybody else was involved in the shooting, and that he acted alone on this.
Now watch closely. You're looking at the man accused of murder in this case. Video from his TikTok page titled "No Hands, No Feet, Shooting 9mm Handgun." His name is Dayton James Weber, a 27-year-old quadriplegic amputee and professional cornhole player. This all started around 10:30 last night when La Plata police officers were flagged down by two witnesses near Radio Station Road. Charles County Sheriff's investigators say Weber was the driver when he shot and killed his front seat passenger, then asked those in the back seat to help get rid of the body. They refused, got out of the car, and alerted police. Weber took off with the victim in the car, identified as 27-year-old Bradrick Wells. 2 hours later and about 15 miles away, Wells's body was found dumped in someone's front yard in Charlotte Hall, Maryland. Soon after, Weber's car was tracked to a gas station in Charlottesville, Virginia. He was found at a hospital nearby and arrested after his release.
I think the witnesses helping really gave us a good start, obviously, and then it was excellent police work with not only our detectives and La Plata police, but also the authorities in Virginia.
Now, we're told that all four men in that Tesla SUV were friends, got into some sort of argument before that shooting happened. As you heard, Weber is currently in Virginia. He's going to be extradited back here to Charles County to face charges of first and second degree murder. Guys?
I got to say, I missed how he did cornhole.
Was involved in the
man accused of no hands, no feet, shooting and professional cornhole player. His name is Dayton James Weber, a 27-year-old quadriplegic amputee and professional cornhole player.
Okay, so he does the ultimate granny for it. And I have lots of questions. Yes, this is in Chris. If this isn't Clown Planet related, I don't know what it is. I have more questions than anything after just watching it. Nebraska is on fire, apparently. While national news is glued to Iran, Nebraska is battling the largest wildfire in its history. 4 active fires, 150,000 acres scorched, cattle and local food chains at risk. Officials say an electric pole sparked the blaze. He manages and he's good. Well, yeah, if he's a professional, he's got to be good. I mean, oh yeah, I still got it clipped on the thing. Yeah, I hear you, Amy. He must be all right. It's not like definitely not like he sucks because he's professional. Just yeah, I don't get now. Maybe that's why the rest of us need to learn how to do the granny or something throw. I don't know. I should be having fun on this, but a cornhole, you just throw it and you have a beer at the same time. You can't have a beer if he's doing it. Does he have a beer? There's so many questions. If the guy can fire off a 9mm, load it, pull it, and then go that way, I guess he's impressive. In other news, Celine Dion returns to a stage in Paris. Kind of a little downer after that one. I don't know how do I follow up that story. They're building a national digital ID and calling it child safety. We've been talking about this for quite some time. You've been following the reporting on AI legislation. You've already known the playbook. Take the surveillance architecture nobody would vote for it on its own. Wrap it up in child safety language and dare anyone to vote against it. You don't like children, do you? That playbook has taken on a new larger forum at the Federal Republic. It's called the Rump AI Act. Yes, really. Republic Unifying Metrocratic Performance Advancing Machine Intelligence by eliminating regulatory interstate chaos across American Industry Act. So throw in a somewhat comma in that thing. Rump AI Act. It could have been like a supercalifragilisticexpialidocious one right there. And it was introduced by Senator Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee. On the surface, the bill's goals sound like everything Americans have been asking for: protect the children from harmful AI, stop big tech censorship, defend creators, and promote American innovation. But here's the first thing you need to understand about this bill. It's not one bill. It's 17 bills crammed into 291 pages and presented as a single piece of junk or legislation. It bundles child safety provisions, Section 230 repeal, copyright law, agency AI governance, anti-bias audits, content watermarking, and a national AI research infrastructure, all under one roof, all in one vote. Ain't that simple? Ain't that beautiful? That structure is not an accident. We recently saw this on the House side, wrapping 7 tech protect the children policies wrapped into one. It's an effective strategy, not necessarily good, but effective. When you package 17 different policy areas in one bill, the provisions that would never survive on their own get carried across the finish line, but the ones that would, and the ones most people would never read, the ones buried in the technical language of Titles 5 and 6, are the ones that matter most. Underneath the child safety framing, this bill builds the architecture for a national digital ID. Drink. And the mechanism is used to get there is one that will be very difficult to argue against: protecting your kids. Great googly moogly. How many times have we been saying this? Over a year maybe? Might as well have cops walk around asking papers everywhere they go. You don't have to when you got Flock and Ring and everyone's carrying their own cop on a cell phone, pretty much. I mean, that's, yeah. Liquor multiplies cornhole. See, that's all. You can't say more truthful statement that's got to be in the Bible too somewhere. Liquor multiplies. Blessed are the ones that drink; they will become better at cornhole. Something like that. I don't know. Yes, it started in Cincinnati, Ohio too. It became bigger because down in the people in Cincy started taking the cornhole boxes down to South Carolina in Folly Beach area. They would go to Folly. That's why we have a lot of problems in Folly Beach, because a lot of Ohioans started going there. Instead of going all the way down to Florida, they'd stop in Charleston. And they would stop there and have spring break there, which ended up screwing up a lot of things in Folly Beach, because before they started doing that, you could pretty much put a keg on the beach. Literally, I went to school there for a couple of years and pretty much lived on the beach every day. And I had a friend of mine live right across on Folly Beach. Literally, if there was a storm, he would be zoned out. He would be lowered out because he was in the basement of this house, 25 feet from the beach. He was a surfer guy. He went down to Hawaii, moved to Hawaii to go surfing. No one's heard from him since. Yeah, you can do anything you want then. Then those guys come in and they screwed up the whole thing. Age verification tripwire. The GUARD Act requires the following. Every user of an AI chatbot must create an account before accessing it. Every account must be age verified using the reasonable age verification measure. The bill defines that measure explicitly as a government-issued identification. What do they call that? Or an equivalent commercial method. Under this bill, you would be required to present government-issued ID to access an AI chatbot. And it doesn't stop there. Section 417 mandates a federal study. This is all, the SAVE Act is doing this too. Study on implementing age verification at the device or operation level, system level, meaning your phone or computer itself would be required to verify your identity before allowing access to certain content, kind of like an internet license. The government is openly studying how to bake a digital identity layer into consumer hardware. These two provisions together, AI at the account level today, ID at the device level tomorrow, are not separate ideas. I see you guys talking about this over here. Yeah, the chatbot was studying. Duty of care means surveillance, full stop. Title I of the bill imposes legal duty of care on AI developers, requiring them to prevent reasonable, foreseeable harms to users. Chain reaction looks like this. The bill imposes duty of care on platforms. Platforms must monitor user interactions to demonstrate compliance. Monitoring requires persistent identity-linked accounts, which the bill also requires. Identity-linked accounts require age verifications, which the bill also requires. Age verification requires government ID, which the bill requires. I forgot to turn on Instagram. Sorry about you guys over there at Instagram land. My bad. Starting over there. You guys get to start at the beginning. Who gets your identity data? Section 503 entitles a contract with third-party age verification providers. Yay. Government gets a copy too. Yay. Title 6, Section 602. The FTC won't bother me. The FTC gets the keys to the kingdom. Throughout the bill, Title 1, 4, 5, and 8, Congress hands the FTC sweeping authority to promulgate rules establishing minimum reasonable safeguards. Think about, we just say it with me, divorce from DC. It's the only thing, I need that to start going. We need more people saying that. What do we do to get out of this? Break up. Gaza emerges as the first controlled experiment for technocracy. We already knew this, though, but it's still good to read. It's February 28, 26, 2026 from Patrick Wood. There is a principle of the core of technocracy articulated by its original architects at Columbia University in their 1930s and documented across decades of research that cuts through the humanitarian language being applied to Gaza's reconstruction and eventually will be part of the Iranian reconstruction. Trader Joe's frozen food recall expands to 10 million pounds of popular items sent to 43 states. More popular Trader Joe's items. I haven't been in a Trader Joe's in about 10 years because there's none near it. We're in Gaston County. Why I live right here. Divorce from Israel. Yeah, because states need to get out of Israel. There's states that are just as bad. Florida, for example, Texas, horrific. Yeah, so yes, they all do. But yeah, where I'm in Gaston County, I don't think we qualify for having a Trader Joe's anywhere inside the county. Not exactly a very wealthy county. More popular Trader Joe's items have been tacked on a nationwide recall that involves millions of pounds of foodstuffs that were potentially contaminated with foreign objects. This goes back to grow your own food type deal. Ahito Foods North America recalled a massive 10 million pounds of Trader Joe vegetable fried rice of slivers of glass were found in 1 pound meals. That's something. Wow. How did you get glass in all 10 million pounds and you got shards of glass in it? Per the notice, the effective items, Best Buy dates ranging from February 28th to November 19th. States included are Hawaii, Maine, New Mexico, South Dakota, Vermont, West by God, Virginia, and Iowa. Mark, you're in trouble, dude. In starting to get back in the Israel thing, the sad moment in the Catholic world, Jerusalem has just canceled the Palm Sunday procession for security reasons. These are images from 2023 of the powerful and widely loved Italian Cardinal and Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, Cardinal Pizzabella. I'll go ahead and play it. Yeah, glass. Yes, glass. Somebody yelled Mazatov or something, and then they put the glass in the box with it.
Expand within these pillars: protect, advocate, educate. We are innovating. We are trying new ways to have an impact in the fight against anti-Semitism. So let's talk about what that looks like. Within the first pillar, protect, not only has the team at the Center on Extremism expanded its ranks with data scientists and software engineers, but we use cutting-edge AI tools to analyze the endless online chatter. And then, when we identify salient trends or material threats, we route them to whomever may need it. Could be journalists, policymakers, and very often law enforcement. Now, I can't talk about all the times we do that. I can't divulge what's happened with every piece of intelligence shared, but just know there are real dangers that have been averted. Serious bad guys that have been put behind bars all over the world. And the information generated by Oren Siegel and the entire team on the Center on Extremism, it makes our communities safer.
Dun, dun, dun. I got some good stuff coming up soon. Not just all, oh yeah, here's if you hear about this morning, there was the crash up in LaGuardia. The Air Canada flight crashed in the rescue truck in New York. Here's a little bit more info on that. Let me see if I can get that up. Have you heard about the rabbi who gave a baby herpes? Yeah, I did. I was going to play because it gets a little kind of graphic, but yeah, I heard that. That's definitely Clown Planet worthy. It's also kind of a family show.
Just before and after the collision. What you're about to hear is the controller approving that fire truck, as is required, to cross the runway. And then realizing something is amiss, urgently ordering it 10 times to stop, but there is no response. Then the crash. And the controller calls out to Air Canada pilots to tell them help is on the way. At that point, they may already be dead. This clip not in real time, though. It has been edited for clarity.
Truck 1 and Company, cross Florida Delta.
Truck 1 and Company, crossing Florida Delta.
Frontier 4195 to stop there, please. Stop, Truck 1, stop. Stop, Truck 1, stop. Stop, Truck 1, stop. Delta 2603, go around, runway heading 2000. Jet 646. Jet 646, I see you collide with vehicle here, just hold position. I know you can't move. The vehicles are responding to you now.
Is the runway closed?
Delta 2603, go around, runway heading 2000.
Heading 2000, go around, Delta 2603.
Your tower.
Truck 2, runway 4 is closed, correct?
Yep, go on to runway 4 now. Proceed on runway 4, you have access. Frontier 4195, I got the word that we're going to be closed for a little while. If you want to prepare to return to the ramp, let me know.
Yeah, we got stuff in progress for that, man. That wasn't good to watch.
Yeah, I know I was here. I tried to reach out to my stuff, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier, and I messed up.
No, man, you did the best you could.
Yeah, so who knows exactly what the air traffic controller owned up to it seems like, but I don't know. Horrific. Pray for the loss of the souls of the pilots. 2 dead, and they both were the pilots. Everyone apparently went to, I think it was like 40 or 50 went to the hospital. And LaGuardia was shut down till 2 p.m. today because of that. In other news in the airports, the TSA in Atlanta line is so long that it's not just wrapped around baggage claim, it's wrapping around outside of the building. People waited 6 hours, they said, and still missed their flights. I've seen videos of TSA lines going into the garage. Thanks be to God it's not the middle of winter. And could you imagine people standing out there and then just anywhere, not just Atlanta, but somewhere else at 20 degrees for hours? ICE officers will begin assisting TSA as shutdown frustrates travelers and screeners. Since they're doing absolutely nothing else, they're going to send the ICE guys down to do things. What are we talking about now? Rocket fuel, melting points? No, it's just the thing about the plane. You have the impression John is dragging his feet. Oh, I got 15 things happening at once. I got guys text me about an idea we got going on here. 4 words the TSA agent has never said. I caught a terrorist. Because they're pretty much glorified Walmart greeters and shit. Here's one. Perfect example of the fake right. Now in love with the TSA. All because they have to go through it.
How long you've been waiting in line and what you think about all this.
We have been in line since 5:30 this morning. We drove up to Atlanta from South Georgia. We left about 3 o'clock this morning. Congress needs to get to work, get it done. The American people don't deserve this.
I bet she watches the Beck all the time. Congress got to get it done.
TSA needs to get paid. This is ridiculous.
TSA, who I used to think, quote unquote, conservatives hate it.
And
but now we
of
gotta
course,
get
this is all happening because, as you just mentioned, TSA workers, they're getting $0 paychecks right now. And that's part of the reason why that ICE agents are now here helping them out, trying to make these lines shorter.
That girl in the blue hasn't stopped giggling the entire time.
What do you think about that?
I'm glad to see them here.
Glad to see it. Well, thank you so much.
I'm glad to see ICE agents here. I want more government in my life while I wear my freedom t-shirt. Freedom, 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 freedom. I want more government freedom. It's so crazy. It's like, really? No, we're from, we hate the TSA to, we want the TSA to be paid. All because of Teen Party politics. In my freedom shirt, someone give Mark a freedom shirt, hook, line, sinker. They only made 25 years. They shouldn't make any a year because they shouldn't exist. TSA, not only is it unconstitutional, it's bad. It's just terrible. It's no reason. There's zero reason for them to exist. DHS shouldn't exist. Most every alphabet soup group shouldn't exist. But yes, example, Stockholm Syndrome. Yeah, exactly. Great googly moogly. UK sends nuclear sub to the Arabian Sea, armed for a strike on Iran if conflict escalates. Why would conflict escalate? I was told by Once a Future King DJT that we've won the war 16 times and it's over. What's going on? Why are we still? Why more people are going in? We were all going to Mark's house. Here is the war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu.
This regime that threatens the entire world has to be stopped. Israel and the United States are working together for the entire world. And it's time to see the leaders of the rest of the countries join up. I'm happy to say that I can see some of them beginning to move in that direction, but more is needed. President Trump's call to have the international community confront this terrorist fanatic regime.
I know John just got done talking about what they calling freedom over the coup for non-maskers. What do you see behind Bibi? Everyone's got a mask on.
Of zealots. That is a call not only for the security of America and the security of Israel, it's for the security of the entire world. And it's time for them to act. This regime.
Now it's for the entire world. Now we got to protect the world from the Iranian regime. Man. Oh yeah, let me go ahead. I know you all want to hear it. I want to hear it too. I just did for some little comic relief.
Supplies feel like I'm getting deja vu. This is like Iraq War number 2. Iraq War number 2. I like to look at those oil supplies. I'd be ashamed if someone invaded you. If someone invaded you. And Iran so far away. I'll bomb Iran, I'll bomb them night and day, but destroy USA. A drone appears above your head. A more bomb comes falling down on you. Falling down on you. The fleet is moving nearer still. The Strait of Hormuz, it comes in view. The oil must flow through. And Iran so far away. The bomb Iran, I'll bomb them night and day, but destroy USA. A tiny hit hits a big red button. Atomic bombs come falling down on you. Mushroom clouds in view. Send out a tweet to let you know. World War III, 'cause Israel told me to. All for Netanyahu. And Iran so far away. Oh, bomb Iran, oh, bomb them night and day. Oh, and Iran so far away. Oh, bomb Iran, oh, bomb them night and day. But destroy USA.
Couldn't help myself. The players, I look it up. Even for the people want to see. So, yeah, there you go. I got another one coming up soon too. MTV, since MTV doesn't exist anymore almost. Pentagram officials weigh deployment of airborne troops to Iran for Iran war. Combat forces would come from a brigade or about 3,000 soldiers capable of deploying anywhere in the world within 18 hours. Senior military officials are weighing possible deployment of a combat brigade. We already said this. The officials describe the military's actions as prudent planning, noting that nothing can be ordered by the Pentagram or U.S. Control Center, Central Command, without which declined to comment. The officials spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss ongoing plan. Combat forces would come from the 82nd Airborne's Immediate Response Force, a brigade about 3,000 soldiers capable of deploying anywhere in the world in 18 hours. These forces could be used to seize Kong Island, Iran's main oil export hub. They keep bringing up that, and they're not going to do anything like that. Here is good old General Graham of Tel Aviv.
Program has been obliterated and they're running out of money. So here's what I tell President Trump. Keep it up for a few more weeks. Take Carg Island, where all of the resources they have to produce oil. Control that island. Let this regime die on a vine.
Is this going to, though, take Carg Island? Is it going to involve U.S. troops on the ground? Let me just read you something from the Atlantic. Does an assessment on that. They say U.S. troops may well take.
Remember, Graham is an Air Force JAG guy, so he has zero clue about anything Army related, as in on the ground. He's only an air guy.
Carg Island. We believe their ability to do so, but only to endure ballistic missile strikes, drone attacks, petrochemical smoke, all without a reliable means of obtaining logistical support. The result could be a grinding war of attrition. They talk about how far away they would be from resupply.
I'm sort of tired of all this armchair quarterback, and this has been an amazing military operation. God bless the fallen.
But it's a difference when we talk about troops on the ground.
I trust the Marines, not that guy. I trust DOD. We got 2 Marine expeditionary units sailing to this island. We did Iwo Jima. We can do this. The Marines, my money is always on the Marines. I don't know if you take the island or you blockade the island, but I know this. The day we control that island, this regime, this terrorist regime, has been weakened. It will die on a vine. And here's what I want to do. I want to get with Chris. I want to sprint to peace. As the war winds down, I want peace to ramp up. The reason we don't have Saudi Arabia and Israel making peace is October the 7th, 2023.
He really blames Iran for October 7th now.
Iran through Hamas attacked
Hamas, which was funded by Israel.
Israel, stopping normalization. I want to take up and complete what Biden started. As soon as we get Iran defanged so they can never do another October 7th, I want to start up peace talks between Saudi and Israel this year. I want a peace deal between Saudi and Israel, normalizing, ending the Arab-Israeli conflict. It's been going on for 2,000 years this year, and you can't do it with a lethal Iran. So we're weeks away from this Iranian regime not having the capability to stop peace.
Okay, very.
If anybody knows anything about what's going on, that was the most delusional thing you've ever seen, probably, right? I mean, yeah, he brings up October 7th, Hamas, phenomenal, the insanity of Graham. All I can say is Graham. Diesel fuel here is over $6. That isn't good. Anything that comes via trucks going up. Yep. Because you said that, Mikey Mike, I'll have this one. Can you take me higher? Again, if you don't laugh, you cry. I would play the Landman, the line that they've been playing a lot, but I don't have any beep buttons.
Though is the president.
We are taking out their missiles, their missile systems, and the factories that build those missiles.
I feel sorry. First, I want to apologize to anybody that becomes dumber after listening to this. My apologies. Remember, this is Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, Soros' right-hand man, and plays on the same team that Pete Buttigieg plays for.
And now the General Kane, Secretary Hegseth are leading a campaign to destroy all the fortifications along the Straits of Hormuz.
Just to put a fine point on this, though, is the president in the process of winding down this war or escalating the conflict?
Again, they're not mutually exclusive. Sometimes you have to escalate to de-escalate.
Okay. NBC News is reporting that President Trump is considering sending troops into Iran. Will the administration...
We are taking out their missiles, their missile systems, and the factories that build those missiles, and now are the...
Did you scare a spot in the old... Did you score a spot in the old control tower? Here's one. I haven't listened to this all yet, but I figured everybody would like it. Yeah, you are dumber now. Well, Mark, you're already that level, buddy.
My fellow citizens, at this hour,
I get
American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran.
The threat comes from Iraq. It arises directly from the Iraqi regime's own actions, its history of aggression, and its drive toward an arsenal of terror.
Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. This terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon.
Saddam Hussein is a homicidal dictator who is addicted to weapons of mass destruction.
Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people.
There can be no peace if our security depends on the will and whims of a ruthless and aggressive dictator.
And they are indeed sick and sinister.
The Iraqi regime was required to destroy its weapons of mass destruction, to cease all development of such weapons, and to stop all support for terrorist groups. The Iraqi regime has violated all of those obligations.
Following our obliteration of Iran's nuclear program. We warned Iran not to make any attempt to rebuild at a different location, but they ignored those warnings and refused to cease their pursuit of nuclear weapons.
The evidence indicates that Iraq is reconstituting its nuclear weapons program.
We warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons.
Satellite photographs reveal that Iraq is rebuilding facilities at sites that have been part of its nuclear program in the past.
We sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil.
The entire world has witnessed Iraq's 11-year history of defiance, deception, and bad faith.
For decades and decades, they rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore.
Some believe we can address this danger by simply resuming the old approach to inspections and applying diplomatic and economic pressure. Yet this is precisely what the world has tried to do since 1991.
For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries.
Iraq possesses ballistic missiles with a likely range of hundreds of miles, far enough to strike Saudi Arabia, Israel, Turkey, and other nations.
The regime's conventional ballistic missile program was growing rapidly and dramatically, and this posed a very clear, colossal threat to America and our forces stationed overseas.
In the last year alone, the Iraqi military has fired upon American and British pilots more than 750 times.
The regime already had missiles capable of hitting Europe and our bases, both local and overseas, and would soon have had missiles capable of reaching our beautiful America.
Regime change in Iraq is the only certain means of removing a great danger to our nation. The dictator of Iraq is a student of Stalin, using murder as a tool of terror and control.
The regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts.
Saddam Hussein is harboring terrorists and the instruments of terror.
We're ensuring that the world's #1 sponsor of terror can never obtain a nuclear weapon.
In addition to declaring and destroying all of its weapons of mass destruction, Iraq must end its support for terrorism.
We're ensuring that the Iranian regime cannot continue to arm, fund, and direct terrorist armies outside of their borders.
It has given shelter and support to terrorism and practices terror against its own people.
Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested.
We've experienced the horror of September the 11th.
And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel.
We have seen that those who hate America are willing to crash airplanes into buildings full of...
You get it. It's got another couple more minutes to go. Hey, we get Gracias Taco. I can do this too, man. Post sermons, got them. Did you listen to them, all of them today? If you're listening to me right now and then listen to sermons and then tell me not to listen, I should go back to posting sermons. I hope you watched all the sermons on there and then tell me that I need to do more, which I'll do more. Sure. I got more. I got enough if YouTube would let me, I have enough to be scheduled out to the year 2035. But anyway, so I'm doing more content. If you don't like what I'm doing, move on to something else. Okay. But anyway, thanks for coming by. Here is Kim Iverson says this smells like a false flag to try and get Europe into the war. Yes. The Israel Defense Forces, the Iranian terrorist regime, launched a long-range missile for the first time since the start of Operation Roaring Lion that could reach a distance of 4,000 kilometers. This was all the rage the other day. Let me go and play. I think this guy actually makes sense on it. If I think I got the right video.
Of the missiles here,
Maybe.
that
Don't
again, if you see what's published, it talks about 2,000 miles being the maximum range of the Iranian ballistic missile program. When I was in the military, it was pretty clear that Iran wanted a missile capable of reaching continental United States. And it isn't about just having a bigger missile, because obviously a lot of its flight track is through space, so it doesn't have any drag. But there's lots of complications once you start going long distances. But this distance here, about 4,000 kilometers, as you say, it's over 2,000 miles. And therefore, they were very successfully able to strike that far, which raised the question, how much further could those missiles actually strike?
How many miles from Iran to the United States?
Well, I think you're about 12,000 kilometers. So you're talking about significantly more. But as I say, actually, it's more about once you get the missile into space, it's free flow, and then you've got to control it on the way down. So some of it is more about technology than it is about the size of the missiles. And it's been long declared that this was a capability that Iran had up its sleeve. I think what's interesting is the fact that they didn't actually hit their targets. It's also the news this morning seems to be making a big thing about this being a UK base. We have to point out, I think there are less than 100 UK personnel there. It's largely dominated by the United States. And given that the United States is the lead of the fight, the war in Iran, it's an entirely legitimate target if you look at it through Iran's lens. It does appear the defensive systems have worked.
But as you were saying, expensively so, right?
Oh, very expensive. But what price do you pay on protecting yourself? I think the other interesting thing is that there's a lot of political commentary about whether our government was right not to side with America. And you go, the worry is always that if you do, you become a target. If Iran does have missiles that are capable of reaching the UK, then we would be very worried because we have no ballistic missile defense capability in this country. And therefore, this morning, rather than being Diego Garcia, which America has been launching attacks from, if we were actually involved in the war, we could be having a missile winging its way to London. We could certainly track it, but we couldn't do anything about it.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah, where'd it go? Sorry, I was fine. There it is right there. There was another BBC guy, and that would fly with the Vatican thoughts. Propaganda, in a sense. 1, 2. They've said they're not looking to do anything like this. 3, if you notice what their playbook is, they're pretty much staying local, acting local, thinking local. They're only hitting areas in other countries that are U.S. bases too. So and they're not going to go after the Vatican. Don't worry about that. They're good. Obviously, you got the guys that want to say that they're trying to make it like a crusade type deal thing. They're not doing that right now. Mark, thank you, man. Love you too. USS Gerald Ford aircraft carrier leaves the Middle East amid Iran fight. Is that the one that had the toilet problems? Reached Crete, Greece for repairs after. Yeah, this is the one that had the problems in the commodes. Slovenia limits fuel purchases as some pumps run dry. A man refuels his car petrol in Slovenia. Slovenia on Sunday temporarily limited fuel purchase to tackle shortages at the pump caused by a part of a cross-border fueling and stockpiling due to the Iran war, raising concerns about security of supplies just as the country goes to the polls. Oh, what timing! Imagine that. I wonder if anybody wants to stay on with Slovenia politics and see what happens from these polls. Get kind of, coincidental, eh? Yeah. This is an oldie but a goodie. And we got some Beach Boy music in here for you. So we get a playlist together. Maybe we get Enoch together and put some songs up, make a CD out of it. Here's Max Blumenthal retweeting: Is Israel telegraphing its intention to blow up these holy sites and blame it on Iran? Israel Foreign Ministry: the Iranian regime is launching missiles towards Jerusalem, the city sacred to billions of believers during the month of Ramadan, over the Western Wall, over Al-Aqsa Mosque, and over the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Now, I'm no expert in this, but I think if you're a Muslim, then it is pretty much against Muslim law to even think about attacking a mosque. So it's, as I heard one guy say it, is this would be akin, since someone brought up the Vatican, this would be akin to, say, one of us going in there and blowing up or launching a missile at St. Peter's Basilica. Almost that same level type deal. So again, that's why Max is out there saying, is Israel telegraphing its intention to blow up these holy sites and blame it on Iran? Because Bibi and those guys do not give two you-know-whats about Judaism because they're atheists. They do not care, but they can make some false flags out the wazoo, kill their own, and do it for the greater glory. Again, you have taqiyya, yes, in Islam. You also have all these other Samson for you got, you know, with the I just went stupid, not the Bethlehem Accords, but the Samson. I used to have these things like that. What's his face? The guy that talked about the pipeline in Russia. Seymour Hersh wrote about it. I'll have to look that up again. Anyways, yes, I don't buy that Iran did that. Here's hundreds of stations in Australia are completely out of fuel and diesel, says Energy Minister. The country is now preparing for the worst case scenario. Supreme leader in Iran killed 40,000 Iranians for no reason. There's another reason Trump went into Iran. Okay, let's get into that. Don't forget, if you're going to say that, also say that the U.S. was pushing it. There's also facts about the U.S. government posting out tweets wanting to arm the protesters, which you have armed protesters. What do you think? What would happen if 40,000 armed protesters went into D.C.? You don't think they'd probably shoot at them too? Yes. Also, remember the DOD retweeted out saying, hey, if you're in a protester, thank a Mossad agent next to you. They were arming the protesters. Mossad agents were a part of it. This was no just some green, spur of the moment protester. This was a like kind of not just a Psyop, but it was a staged event in a sense. So yeah, don't buy into the media telling you about this. The same media that said the sniffles were coming on there. 15 days to flatten the curve and all that junk. Don't buy it. I had it last week. Look at one of the things last week. I have the tweet. And it won't take long. Let me see. Let's see. I'll do it right now. Protest to Iran Mossad agent. That's how fast I can find it. Right off the bat, CIA director confirms Iranian protests are Israel, U.S. false flags. Former CIA director Mike Pompeo reveals that Mossad agents are facilitating protests and Trump pushing this collapse. Told you so. Let's see if can I get that expanded out a little bit. There's Mike Pompeo at the bottom. Happy New Year to everyone, every Iranian in the streets, also every Mossad agent next to him. I should know that. I'll just put your tweet right next to the caption right there. You want to say Mike Pompeo is wrong? I'm right. This is exactly what they said. Costco gas lines surge as drivers hunt for cheaper fuel. Rising fuel costs tied to the conflict in Iran are forcing many Americans to rethink everyday spending. Great reset, especially on gas, according to Bloomberg. At a Costco near San Antonio, drivers are waiting up to half an hour to fill up, while others are checking apps like Gas Buddy or driving further to save a few cents per gallon. You know how dumb that is? Actually, you're wasting the gas just to go that far, just for a few cents. With prices close to $4 nationwide, households are cutting back on dining out, travel, and even groceries. Something like you are the Great Reset. Am I anti-Trump? There's the false dichotomy right there. Just because you say X doesn't mean you're this. By the way, I was calling out Trump was sorry you love Trump. Okay, that's great. You're free to do that. I called it out saying long before he was selected that he was coming in to do stuff like this. He was going to bring in the Technocratic prison center. Wait a minute. Let me show you this. Did you, since you love Trump, have you seen this? Yes or no? What do you think? Are you for the following clip of Trump saying this?
Finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. We will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
Now, I mean, you can love him all you want, but that literally was a thing of his. And I can go right through day one. Stargate, the technocratic takeovers by Palantir and being inside DC, going all the way down the list, the unconstitutional stuff that he's been doing. Brandon was just as bad at work. Obama sucked too. They all stink. What's wrong with that? He's against illegals. Is he? Fun soul. Let me ask you something. Did he say about keeping all the illegals? Yes or no? Tell me. He said get rid of all the illegals, and I will give you evidence that he said he wants to keep some here, especially the ones that he employs. You do know he employs illegals at Mar-a-Lago and other places, right? Tell me if you don't. I can provide you evidence. And by the way, he's also bringing in the CBDC, digital ID, which the CBDC will be under stable coins, by the way. But hey, don't worry. It will be under a MAGA label. You'll have to approve it. You'll have to like it. You won't be. I don't want to hear any complaining from you, fun soul. Because I want you to have the digital ID first. Goldman Sachs now reckons that oil could take out the 2008 record of $147. Going to cripple our economy. Small business sounds alarm over record diesel price spike. Yeah. Why are you on census? Because it's my channel. Why are you here then? If you don't like it, go somewhere else, dude. Small business sounds alarm over record diesel spike. Let's see. Dr. Mercedes Pavon Supermueta Fifi. They're reporting that the biometric CURP is now mandatory required to deliver medications. Wasn't it supposed to be optional? Welcome to the fourth transformation. How about test those social trends? I thought the Catholic Church ran census. Okay. This is going on in Mexico right now. Mexicans, as Derek Bros says, Mexicans must oppose the biometric CURP and the trend toward a cashless society. Say no to these measures that lead to a technocratic state in which government control everything you do. Claudia Schomburg is doing that. President Schomburg herself reiterated that it wasn't mandatory, but in practice, if you don't have it, the IMSS system can block your prescription fulfillment. And this also goes back to make your own medicine. Here's Richard Williams. The power elite could use an oil crisis and excuse to force more people to use digital IDs. For example, so-called key workers would have to show these IDs to get extra petrol or diesel rations. Later, that they may be used to ration food. And this is in the United Kingdom. Petrol rationing and new 50-mile-an-hour speed limit plan on the table for all of UK. That goes back to the limit on the absolute zero. Remember the absolute zero? Let's see. Just remember that. Rationing. Here's the absolute zero from the United Kingdom, the 2050 project. Development of petrol diesel engines ends. Any new vehicle introduced from now on must be comparable with absolute zero. Flying, all exports except Heathrow, Glasgow, and Belfast closed with transport by rail. Remember, that's because of the whole idea of how bad the airports are. Yeah, it might be the same idea. Let's see. Protect the list. Let's see. That would test a big mess. This is why they want electric vehicles. Boogie, woogie, woogie, woo. Much easier to control the grid. Yep, and they can shut it down anytime they want. Speaking of another thing that isn't going our way, this just in: massive fire burns after a loud explosion heard at the Valero oil refinery in Port Arthur, Texas. This happened about an hour ago. Well, maybe a little bit more, maybe 2 hours ago. Valero Port Arthur refinery explosion reported. One of the largest refineries in these United States. They have no sound. Nothing. Okay, I was thinking they had a video of it, but nothing. Here's Sparrow. Big changes are coming. Last time it was Big Pharma. Now it's the military-industrial complex's turn. COVID 2.0. Both roads lead to the same destination, the United Nations Agenda 21. They're not fixing problems. They're engineering the next phase. This
control of all land, all water, all minerals, all plants, all animals, all construction, all means of production, all food, all energy, all information, and all human beings in the world. And this is a plan that was agreed to by 179 nations back in 1992. It's a United Nations plan. It's called the Agenda for the 21st Century. And so many of us around the world think that sustainable development, it just sounds so great. Isn't it about recycling and creative reuse and creating energy and food resources for everyone? And the answer is no, it really is not. It's about moving populations into city centers, concentrated city centers, and clearing them out of the rural areas. It's constructed of non-governmental organizations, corporations, and government in order to dictate and regulate what it is that happens around the world. Regionalization is the stepping stone to globalization, and globalization is the standardization of all systems. All systems have to be brought into harmony in order to control them all. And the goal of Agenda 21 is one world government and total control from a central unit. The principles are
nothing like that Board of Peace thing, huh?
Private partnerships, which is fascism. And this is how it's implemented on the ground, is through this joining together between corporations, non-governmental organizations, and governments in order to cut out the actual individual, your voter, and instead to take that to a level where we literally cannot penetrate. This is a corporatocracy. It's a totalitarian state being developed right now all over the world while we are moving towards the end game. We are not there. And this is the opportunity that all of us have now to stand up, to speak out. We are free, and we need to continue to be free. And I do believe that we will win.
Now, Rosa, she's all big on this UN agenda. She wasn't, she was playing on the other team in a sense. Pray for her soul because she died a couple years ago. Let's see, Trump is bringing God back to the country. Oh, if you say so, dude. Ain't the God that you and I, ain't the God that we worship. That God that wherever those guys are praying to in DC ain't the real God. Laos has ordered schools nationwide to cut in-person classes from 5 to 3 days a week as part of emergency measures aimed at easing financial pressure on families amid continued fuel price volatility. Speak it out. A notice issued by the Prime Minister's office on Thursday said the directive takes immediate effect, introducing changes to learning schedules while requiring schools to maintain academic standards. According to Xinhua news agency XNA, under the order, all general education institutions, both public and private, must reduce classroom teaching to 3 days per week. Fuel shortages, prompt inspections, and government intervention. COVID 2.0, rated R. You need to watch Promethean updates. Whatever you recommend me watching, I definitely don't need to watch it. I will go ahead and say whatever you recommend is not what anybody else should watch out. Called it from the start. Climate change is a national security issue. This is more than just semantics. The definition is legally important. Once that officially is the case, the governments and institutions will begin claiming emergency war powers on the basis of climate emergency. Remember this guy from back in the day? If you don't, I'll just go ahead and play it a little bit for you.
Energy. And in the edge of war, climate stress is also
Man, it's
exposing
very
another
low.
truth. Our addiction to fossil fuels is destabilizing both the climate and global security. Now more than ever, we must accelerate the just transition to renewable energy. Renewables deliver climate security, energy security, and national security. And in the edge of war, climate stress is also...
I love it. I'm a leftist if I talk about Trump, and then I'm a fascist if I talk about the other team, the fake right versus the fake left. Every day I get one of those. Yeah, if I'm not for Trump, I'm definitely a leftist. No, why not? Nope. Sorry. By the way, Trump is a leftist. Sorry. If you're for big government, that's a leftist idea. If you're for the government running things, that's a leftist idea. If you're for centralization, that's a leftist idea. What you have for Trump is pretty much a 1940s Democrat, and those were exactly what they call progressives. What is another word for progressive? A progressive communist. Guess who else? That's Obama. That's Biden. That's Bush. That's Trump. Does that mean I'm a leftist? Wait a minute. I called out all from both fake left and fake right. What does that make me? Call me a leftist again. I love it. You have no proof. No one can tell me why I'm a leftist, but just, throw out some names. That's great. Don't listen to anyone who thinks secession will solve anything. Oh boy. Americans increasingly fantasize about a divorce. I do, between red and blue states, but they dread the thought of civil war. You don't need a civil war to do it. It's an ignorant comment. You can't have one without the other. Yes, you can. How many times have we done this on this week in what happens in this day? You have independent movements. How many of those independence movements had wars? None of them. None of them. See, fake centrist. But Steve, my leftist boss, hates Trump. I mean, yeah, no. See, it's become almost like a histamine response after shocking national event like the assassination of Kirk or Trump's deployment of the military to LA last June. Mentions of the term civil war, and the calls for secession surge online. I don't know why they kept bringing the Civil War up. I thought this was better in it. The United States of Canada, the Red Jesus land has been around since the mid 2000s. Really? I didn't know that. We need to separate by red and blue states. Now, we do need a national voice. Now, to separate, I think we need to separate about 7-8 different groups. Red and blue states? I don't know. There's a bunch of red stuff I don't care about. But remember, this is all about that movie that came out, the Civil War thing. It's just... There was a reason why they came out with that dumb movie. Trump used U.S. government to take partial ownership. Yeah. In a sense, and Trump is a socialist too. Watch McDonald's test humanoid robots on the front line. To be frank, they don't look up to it yet. Yeah, there's our video. I thought there was video. I should have got the video of the robot having a fight with somebody. Now, I've seen these, not just McDonald's, but there was a burger joint on the way up to Hickory. They had one, like a robot like that. They put their food on it, and it pretty much just drives your food out to your thing. You're supposed to take the food off. Let's see. I was just looking to see if I got called any other names. Like, I don't know. I took a stand. He beat the crap out of me. This is the guy, Reacher star Alan Richson, beat up on video, has explained how the fight started in the first place, telling us he thought Alan was driving in an unsafe manner. Riding a motorcycle? That was very Christ-like of Alan. Ads are popping up on the fridge, and it isn't going over well. Some Americans have been taken aback by marketing messages on the door. Tide boosted, cleaner, whiter, fresher, frieder. I don't know why anybody would have a refrigerator that talks to them, but that's most of the stuff you're getting anymore. What you need to do if you're trying to find something like that. Thank you, John. Yes. You got to go through one of those old appliances where they sell the old stuff and get you an old school refrigerator. I got one out in the garage, actually. It'll probably outlast the one that's in this rental. Want to live longer, healthier human life? Dog brains might hold key information for longevity. They lick their, now if a fridge would open a beer for me, that's why you have kids or you have nieces and nephews. I remember telling my nephew when he was about, 5 or 6. This was 10, 15 years ago. Hey, grab me a beer out of the cooler. Just using the, he loved it. That was our robot. Mysterious hum heard across several U.S. states as residents report vibrating homes and sleepless nights. A mysterious hum was reported over neighborhoods across several U.S. The first sentence always is a repeat. The latest reports come from Vineland, New Jersey, where locals say the sound began after construction started on a massive 2.5 million square foot data center. Shocking. The New Jersey Governor Sherrill wears a hijab for EID, for idiot. By the way, guess what religion she is? If you said Catholic, you would be correct. She supposedly is a Catholic lady and decided to take I don't know. Here's Jason Bassler. 3 years ago, East Palestine, Ohio was covered in toxic fallout. They hoped you forgot. Here's an update. Settlement money is finally trickling out. Residents had to fight to challenge federal case. Independent tests still don't match official claims. Norfolk Southern is funding community rebuilds. The story didn't end. It just faded from your feed. And that's where basically JD got his name too out of this. Bill Cosby loses sex assault lawsuit and faces a $19 million judgment. California IA jury found that Mr. Cosby had abused Donna Matzinger in 1972 after inviting her to attend one of his comedy shows. Here's a Georgia committee advancing a bill for permanent daylight saving time by change of time zone. Falsely claims doctor support would put sunrise past 8 a.m. for 4 months to nearly 9 a.m. So in the winter, tell your Georgia State Senator oppose HB 154, amend your permanent Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, a lot of people, there's been a lot of movements to end the switch back and forth, but the problem is they're trying to end to the air part. They're not trying to end it to the regular standard time. They're trying to keep it the more daylight in the evening. I wonder if she sells regretting a Lent with the Chris. Nope. I would bet the farm I do not have that she doesn't. In sports, here's this guy cannot believe how tall Oliver Rio is. He's never seen a 7'9" dude before. And this guy right here is 6'9", 6'9", 6'10", or something like that. He's a big dude, and he's looking up going, that guy's 8 feet tall. And funny thing, this guy doesn't even play a lot. They pretty gave him mop-up time. Here's the stats. Half a point a game, half a rebound a game. I mean, he is a freshman, so that's probably why. Yeah, not even average a rebound a game. He probably hasn't had to be fair, yeah, no one. I did that when I saw a guy that was 7 feet. We were playing in the NCAA the NCJAAs, the junior college NJCAAs, National Junior College National Championships. And the second team, no, the first team we played had 2 7-foot Russians. I'd never seen a 7-footer in my life. Anyway, that guy's got 2 of them. I just remember looking up the guy like, yeah, no. Sounds like Rick could move. Here's a move that Rick could do in here. It's coming up here in a minute. Here's the move that Rick and under. This is great. You know what? I'm going to risk them messing with the video on this for this clip.
Cinderella of the men's tournament, 12th seeded High Point, a little Methodist school in North Carolina.
Yeah, this is this week. It was, they ended up losing the second game, but they won the first.
With that call by two student radio announcers, the Panthers pulled ahead for the upset over 5-seeded Wisconsin yesterday, reminding us all why we watch. The big.
Yeah, they have their own. They probably have a name, image, and likeness on those guys. But yeah, the High Point's in North Kakalaki. Used to be a team in summer ball that played at High Point. And then obviously the other part, the downside of it is when you lose, it's over. And most people, you see guys, mocking the guys that they're seniors that cry off the court after this. Been there, done that. It don't matter how big of a dude heart you think you are, masking guy, that happens to every single dude. Here's Jason Whitlock talking about how teams that have mostly Caucasians are winning big in the tournament and other places.
The Balkan Five or the Balkan Bloc, they got a bunch of guys from the Balkan area, from Serbia. Iowa is beating Florida, the number 1 seed, to make it to the Sweet 16. And I look up, and Iowa's got 3 or 4 white boys in their rotation. Purdue's the number 2 seed. They're 29-8. They just knocked off Miami to make it to the Sweet 16. Again, I believe that's their 3rd straight year. 4 of the last 5 years, they've been in the Sweet 16. Nebraska. Holy cow. Nebraska is now a basketball powerhouse.
I didn't know Nebraska's basketball team was worth anything. I don't remember them winning anything when I was in a college ball. Kind of racist. I know they always, it is bad when they do that. I mean, I was Billy Ho in street ball. I was you're just used to it. Here is Dodger home opener ticket prices. So for $720 a ticket, you can get on the first base side on a lower level. $249 in the all the way in the back and center field. What's the euchre seats? $220 in the euchre seats. They call them the euchre seats because you're up there by the blimp. As high as you can go is $200. This is hysterical. I'm sure there's some sports guys in the audience right now. All right, let's see what you guys think right off the bat.
For the Twins here in the 4th inning. You ever seen Buck with his pants down? No.
No.
Like in shorts? No, like he doesn't have no socks showing. It's a good start for the Twins here in the 4th inning. You ever seen Buck with his pants down?
No.
No. Like in shorts? No, like he doesn't have no socks showing.
This is great because I went, hey, Joey, sitting Buck his pants. If you know Airplane. Now, if you know what he's talking about his legs. You hike, you pull your legs up to expose your socks. Kind of old school way of doing it. So that's what he was talking about. You've seen Buck with his pants down, and he meant to say his leg. He should have said his legs down. It was bad, terrible wording, but I thought it was hysterical. No, again, Clown Planet. Where was it? I thought it was funny. Here's a kind of a cool way to do it because I don't think anybody on here, including myself, could say no to this, but it's good on them.
It's my way. I'll stay and hold and feed a nation. 26 million doesn't mean anything.
Some people might find it hard to understand how Delcia Bear can turn away a $26 million offer to buy some of her land until you spend a little time with her walking the dirt road she grew up on and in the house her daddy built.
Paid taxes on it, fed a nation off of it, even raised wheat through the Depression and kept bread lines up in the United States of America.
Delcia is one of dozens of landowners approached by an anonymous buyer, one of the major players in artificial intelligence, likely Google or Meta or Amazon, to purchase their land.
They call us old stupid farmers, you know, but we're not. We know whenever our food is disappearing, our lands are disappearing, and we don't have any water.
Delcia's mom, Ida Huddleston, is now 82 years old, and she certainly does not trust the promises made by the AI companies.
So what do you say to the people who say, hey, this is going to bring economic prosperity?
I say they're a liar and the truth ain't in them. It's a scam.
Yeah, good on her. Some heroes don't wear capes. And I think it's this week. What happened this day in history? 1957, the last U.S. Army pigeons put up for sale. 2021, the Suez Canal. It took, was blocked by a mega freighter. Ever Given ran aground. Blah, blah, blah. 2001, all those designed for only 5 years of service, the Soviet-Russian Space Center mirror into 15 years in orbit. 1998, James Cameron epic drama Titanic won 11 Academy Awards, tying the record set by Ben-Hur. It took a while for that ship to go down. 1996, Lee Teng-hui won Taiwan's first direct presidential election. 1983, in a nationwide television address, U.S. President Ronald Reagan announced the Strategic Defense Initiative, popularly known as Star Wars. I remember that. 1976, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights entered into force, incorporating almost all of international human rights proclaimed in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights of 1948. 1933, the German Reichstag, dominated by the Nazi Party and German National People's Party, voted to pass the Embling Act, thereby assuring Nazi primacy in a process that began with the Reichstag fire about a month prior. 1910, Japanese director Kurosawa Akira, who won worldwide acclaim with subtle, brilliantly composed films such as the Rashomon, or whatever, that combined Japanese historic themes with a Western sense of action and drama, was born. 1908, American actress Joan Crawford was born. 1882, German mathematician Emma Noether was born. We just got a lot of born people. 1857, American inventor Alicia Otis installed the first commercial elevator in the department store in New York City. New York City. Yeah, New York City. 1849, the Battle of Novara during the First Italian War for Independence outnumbered Austrian troops under Field Marshal Joseph Retzka, destroyed the poorly trained Italian troops of Charles Albert, King of the Sardinia Piedmont. Notice it wasn't a unified one nation. 1806, having completed the first U.S. overland expedition to the Pacific coast, explorers Lewis and Clark began their return to St. Louis, Missouri, where their journey had begun May 1804. 1775, Patrick Henry, the man, delivered a well-known speech featuring the phrase, "Give me liberty or give me death," at the Second Virginia Convention at John's Church, Richmond. I don't think I have my boy Mike Church's thing. Let me check this out real quick. He has a great rendition of that. Henry, Mike Church. This trailer. Yeah, here we go. MikeChurch.com.
Us from the east.
Mr. President, what is dawning on us should be the need of a well-regulated militia. By establishing such militia, Virginia will eliminate the need to be taxed to pay for the British mercenaries currently occupying this country.
Mr. President, perhaps Mr. Henry was absent on the days when our recent Congress sent new petitions for peace to His Majesty. Maybe he hasn't heard that we still have friends in Parliament. Is this a time to turn a friend into an enemy? To turn their pity into disgust? Withdraw your resolves, Mr. Henry, and let this House return to our peaceful petitions.
Let gentlemen cry peace,
when there is peace? Where is the enemy in this quarter of the globe that requires this massive accumulation of armies and supplies? I have news for you, gentlemen. We are that enemy. If we wish to be free, we must fight. I repeat it, sir. We must fight. An appeal to arms and to God is all that is left for us. I know not what course other men may take, sir. But as for me, give me liberty or give me death.
To this I say, to arms.
To arms. To arms. To arms.
To arms. To arms. To arms. To arms. To arms. To arms.
And just a little tidbit. That speech wasn't written down for 20 years after. There's a biography written by I forget his name, but the biographer says that it took 20 years for somebody to write down the speech because everybody was so mesmerized that no one was like penning it down. They were just stunned. They were just engulfed in what he was saying. It took them that long to write it down. It just shows the memory of these people that they still remembered it that long after. Anyways, that was King George so bad. A lot of that, here, like we talked about Sam Adams and those guys, the Sons of Liberty, pretty much were propagandist terrorists at the time too. But yeah, I mean, you look at the Declaration and compare it to now. Those guys are probably going, "What are you guys waiting on?" Anyway, God love you. Have a great rest of the night. Obviously, you know the jazz. Click like, subscribe, all that jazz. See you on Wednesday. Well, maybe not. It's the Feast of the Annunciation. Maybe I'll do something tomorrow. Usually we'll skip the feast days. But anyway, yeah, I'll probably do something tomorrow. Anyway, God love you. Have a great rest of the night and talk to you later.